In today's video, we're going to take a look at Toronto condo prices and sales as it stands in the summer of 2025 by major intersection. Hey, listen, I haven't done one of these videos by intersection in a long time. Thought I would do one. We're going to take a look at sales in the last month and a half. This is being recorded on June 27th. We're going to take a look at sales from May 1st to this time. And we can't cover the entire GTA, unfortunately. We're going to do as much as we can. Without further ado and any hesitation, let's start. All right. So we have the map function here. It's not as user friendly as other websites, but in terms of actual pure data, single sales, it's a really good source. It's my obviously favorite system. It's the most accurate system, I would say. So let's start by Waterfront. Let's take a look at a kilometer radius of Yonge and Harbor. Obviously, some of that kilometer radius is going to stretch into the actual water, but we're going to try to capture most of the central region of Waterfront, maybe poking a bit into St. Lawrence and poking a bit into Wellington. So we have Yonge and Harbor here. We're going to do 1 kilometer radius. Maybe it's too big. It doesn't capture just the water, as I said, or waterfront rather. But yeah, you know, why not? This is not a scientific study, it's just a YouTube video. Total, we have 108 sales for condos. Here are all the sales, as you guys can see, all 108. And we have some higher end sales here, of course, in 3.4 million in one Edgewater, 33 University. This one sold for 2.7 million, and all the way down, as you guys can see, on the low end of the spectrum, we here have like this unit in 12 York. It's a studio unit. This unit in 12 Bonnie Castle, for example, 312, it's a one-bedroom unit at 476. And in terms of statistics, these 108 in this 1 kilometer radius, we have an average sold price of $907,000 with a median sold price of $710,000. The average, as I said, is being carried up by those $3 million, $2 million price point sales, whereas the median is more accurate. And keep in mind, these numbers account for all types of sales, as we discussed, from studios to 3 bedrooms and everything else in between. And let's go now for a different area. Let's go a little bit further north. This is Yonge and Bloor. Let's just see what has sold in Yonge and Bloor and what the prices will be here. Of course, this is going to capture some of Yorkville as well within a kilometer radius. Draw this circle for a kilometer. Here we have just about a kilometer here. And bam, these are all the sales. You know, you have some of the usual suspects. 825 Church in the Yorkville area, you have 200 Bloor, 1 Bedford, of course, one of the highest priced buildings. But you have like stuff such as 5 St. Joseph, right? Any kilometer radius in core downtown, even as north as Yonge and Bloor, is going to capture a lot of other areas that you wouldn't consider Yonge and Bloor, like 5 St. Joseph. Well, some do actually. And then you have, you know, as far east as, for instance, this one on Bloor as well, 30 Hayden as well. In total, we have 145 sales. 110 Charles, one of my favorite buildings. This unit 3608 sold for $588,000. We have 24 Wellesley, not one of my favorite buildings, selling for $600,000. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-washroom. 45 Charles, once again, complicated building. This 1+1 sold for $615,000. And in total, we have a higher average price point here, $943,000. with a median sold price of $748,000, as you get with a median sold price of $728,000. So pricier than Yonge and Harbor. And that's not a surprise. Yonge and Bloor is a pricey area. You know, like besides the Yorkville ones, you have, for example, these 1 Bloor units that also really drag up the average prices. This was a beautiful unit, by the way, I saw. I'm a sucker for Persian carpets because, surprise, surprise. Well, I won't tell you. Just guess why I might be a sucker for Persian carpets. I am a realtor in Toronto, so there might be a clue there. But nonetheless, though, that's a pretty beautiful unit. But the trick with 1 Bloor, it's leaving me a bit disappointed nowadays. I think it has degraded a bit in quality. I would probably knock it off my A tier to like a B- or to a B tier. The elevators are just a headache. Let's take a look at now another intersection, kind of like Front and Spadina. Let's do a kilometer radius there at Front and Spadina. Let's see what we come up with. I guess it's going to capture a lot. Actually, there's more inventory than you would think at this intersection. And I have to zoom out a bit here. But you have, for example, here, like as 12 York, once again, falls under Front and Spadina at kilometer radius. 352 Front right in the middle of that. You have some City Place condos here, for example, in terms of 80 Queens Wharf and 20 Briars Mews. Not City Place, but, you know, the Briars Mews, the Fleet Street ones here, 8 Telegram Mews. A little bit further west to the edge of this kilometer radius, we see like the Fort York ones, like Bastion. I love Bastion, just purchased a 2-bedroom unit in there earlier this year. Really good unit in a really good building. You know, also 628 Fleet, which I prefer over 600 Fleet. All in all, here within this kilometer radius, we're looking at about 181 sales here, and much more affordable. 181 sales at $726,000 average, $609,000 median. And then let's venture out a bit more out of downtown. Obviously, when we leave downtown, you know, sales are going to be less. Here we have the Yonge and Sheppard area. Let's take a look at a kilometer radius here. And as you see, Yonge and Sheppard, much like Midtown, even more than Midtown, I would say, is really all the inventory, all the sales, all the condo options are like in the middle. It's legitimately like, if it's not on Yonge Street or Doris or, you know, Beecroft, it's really not a condo, it's a house. It's really confined close to Yonge, all the condo option. They're almost like in one file. But we have the usual suspects here, only 62 sales. We have, of course, some sales in Bales, which I like a lot, 1-bedroom sales. We have the Everson ones, which are a bit tricky because Everson, those townhomes are susceptible to flooding. Not saying this one in specific, and I'm not saying every Everson one, but a lot of the Everson townhomes in Harrison Garden are built with high-tech plumbing. So that's one key thing to keep in mind. We have 155 Beecroft, more high-tech plumbing. Once again, not this specific unit, but high-tech plumbing is common there. 11 Beauregard, complicated building there. And quite surprisingly, I would say, the average is higher than I would have assumed. So is the median. I did not expect the average sold price to be at $719,000 with a median of $727,000. I actually did not. My experience within the last year and a half, 2 years, is that Yonge, Sheppard, North York has been far more affordable than Midtown and downtown. On an average basis, you can get more bang for your buck in terms of square footage in North York than you can in Midtown and downtown. But the reason is, as we can see, there's a lot of 2-3 bedrooms selling. Like a huge chunk of what's actually selling here in North York are these 2-3 bedrooms, which are still on a price per square foot probably more affordable than downtown, Midtown. You got like 800s here, you got 780. These are probably just below $1,000 per square foot, if not even less. So that's why I suspect on an average basis it's higher, but on a price per square foot basis it's probably lower. And then of course, let's hit Yonge and Eglinton. And once again, we're going to do 1 kilometer radius of Yonge and Eglinton. As you can see, a little bit more spread out. This is an area I've been doing a lot of business in lately, on Roehampton, Broadway. Just purchased a unit at 99 Broadway, been showing a lot of units. Recently, we have obviously 161 Roehampton sales. We have 80 Roehampton. I'm actually going to come out with a vlog video next, after this one probably, when it comes to Midtown, and showing you a little bit more of what I bought for a client at 99 Broadway. But really, the primary addresses here that are going to pop up time and time again, for the most part, these addresses, these streets rather, are going to account for like 80%, 85% of the inventory is Roehampton, Redpath, Broadway. Really those 3. Of course, you have the Lillians and the Dunfields and the Eglintons and the Yonge Streets, but those previously mentioned 3 addresses are probably going to be the major chunk of inventory in this intersection. Only 58 sales less than North York. Once again, I'm surprised, and I'll be surprised to see if the average here is less than North York. I'll be surprised on an average, right? And yeah, surprisingly, the average here is less than North York. We see an average sold price of $638,000 based on this 58 sales, and a median sold price of $630,000. Once again, not to repeat myself, which is a tendency I have, I suspect that on a price per square foot basis, it's actually higher than North York. And it is quite surprising, right? Like, for instance, 88 Broadway, Unit 406, which is a pretty decent building. Here, you see it sold for $815,000. And then on the bottom of the list, you have actually the unit I purchased for a client, the 99 Broadway, Unit 1101, which you'll see in my next video. I purchased it for $418,000. It was listed at $428,000. It's a proper 1-bed in terms of the bed is actually proper. It's not a sliding door, but it's a small unit, beginner unit, truly a beginner unit, intended for a client with a limited budget, but a client that wants an adequate and sufficient building, not just any garbage building. which is 99 Broadway. Once again, in my next video, I'll be elaborating upon my opinions of the building. It's not, you know, an amazing building, but it's not a bad building. It's actually quite passable and sufficient if you're okay to put up with some quirks. Anyways, guys, I thought I would switch it up today, use the map function, and we looked at some major intersections, Waterfront, Yonge and Bloor, Downtown West, North York, Midtown. Of course, as always, I would love to cover the entire city. Unfortunately, I get tired. I talk a lot, I yap a lot in these videos. And guess what? At some point, people are gonna get tired of my voice, but I'm gonna try to make a more concerted effort going forward to cover areas that I don't usually cover. Unfortunately, people are always excited to, you know, view videos about downtown, midtown, and North York. Not so much, unfortunately, you know, in Scarborough or Mississauga. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay tuned, and see you next time.